So there are two reasons these war pigs want to attack Iran. Of course, one is money and one is Israel.
Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. In a statement released just last hour, the president said the United States does not seek conflict in the Middle East or anywhere else in the world. But let all those who might seek to do us harm know this. If you harm an American, we will respond.
I want to follow up on this question of Iran and Iran-backed. There's no confusion from the White House's point of view about who is ultimately responsible for this, and that is the country of Iran. They're not hitting proxies of ours, they're hitting us. Are we going to hit them at last?
Again, I'm simply not going to get ahead of the president's decision space. We're not looking for a war with Iran. We're not looking for a conflict broader in the region. We're doing everything we can to try to take the tensions down.
You know it's bad when John Kirby wants to de-escalate.
Right, when John Kirby's like, whoa, 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 CBS. CBS. When are we going to attack them at
finally,
last? When are we going to attack them finally at last? When are we going to do it? John Kirby's like, whoa, I'm a warmonger, but even CBS. That's like, he's like, what the fuck's going on over there at CBS?
That's bad.
And Iran's president, Ibrahim Raisi, responded today, saying Iran won't start a war, but will respond strongly to anyone who bullies it.
As expected, the retaliation has begun. The U.S. military unleashing airstrikes in the Middle East.
Today's air assault, a response to that drone strike that killed 3 U.S. troops in Jordan last weekend. Terrence Lee at the live desk tonight with new video from Iraq and Syria. Terrence.
I'll show you that footage in just a little bit. I want to catch you up with what we know right now. We know the U.S. hit more than 85 targets, all sites used by Iranian-backed militias. And our president made it clear this is just the beginning, but the White House is stressing the U.S. is not looking for a war with Iran. Now, you're looking at the video here. It's posted on social media showing some of the strikes. Now, in this footage, you see a missile launching into the night sky, huge plumes of smoke as well. Tonight, the militias are reporting their headquarters have been destroyed, and some are reporting significant casualties. Fox News is reporting the targets were carefully selected to avoid civilian casualties. We've also learned U.S. warplanes conducted all the airstrikes, not Navy vessels. Shortly after the attacks were confirmed, the president said, if you harm an American, we will respond.
Are America and Iran going to war? Joe Biden has issued orders. America will target multiple Iranian proxy groups in West Asia. Iran says it doesn't want a war, but it won't run away from one. The rhetoric is dangerous. The U.S. president does not want to appear soft on Iran in an election year. But is this a fire that he wants to light? And what is the end game?
So then check out the Babylon Bee. I think this headline kind of says it all. Lindsey Graham calls on the United States to bomb every country in the world.
There's just not one that he misses.
I think it's pretty accurate.
Iran's president is responding for the first time to America's threats of retaliation after the deaths of 3 U.S. service members in Jordan.
تهدید میکنن این روزها هم گاهی از میان کلمات مقامات آمریکایی برخی از تهدیدهای بیمورد را میشنویم ما به آنها میگوییم که شما ما را در میدانهای قبلی آزموده اید ما هم شما را
Corinne Jean-Pierre to offer her condolences. I mean, these words are wise. Listen.
What I will say, obviously our deepest condolences go out, and our heartfelt condolences go out to the families who lost three folks who are military folks, who are brave, who are always fighting, who are fighting on behalf of this administration, of the American people. Obviously, more importantly, we lost those souls.
Yeah.
Helpful.
Feel better?
Is it that hard for her to say a gender? Like, is that what that was about? Like, we just can't say a gender because, men and women.
I don't know. She's like, you can see like the wheels spinning. Like they're fighting on behalf of who? Because they're not fighting. Do you feel safer? Like in the United States of America, do you feel safer that these men are occupying an outpost overlooking 15,000 Syrian refugees illegally in the Middle East? Like, do you feel any safer? No, I would feel safer if those 35 individuals were at the U.S. southern border and they were in a tower, I would feel safer then, actually. I don't feel safer that they're over there. In fact, they're sitting ducks. Have to hit IRGC terrorists and hit them hard. Aim for targets that hold strategic significance for Iran's regime, not merely its proxies. Aim for the head of the octopus, not merely its tentacles.
Can we just leave that up for a second? I want to ask you, do you think that's going to get you into heaven?
Only way we will get that done.
No new wars. I'm done with the military-industrial complex.
None of us want new wars. None of us want new wars.
Where's the money coming from? Read Hoffman or LinkedIn. We know where your money's going from, JB. We know. And we're sick of the wars. We want America first. When the Russians get back to the Euro, done.
They have a lot of capability. I have a lot more.
Lindsey Graham, Senator, South Carolina. Hit Iran now. Hit them hard. And then Senator John Cornyn, target Tehran.
Same question. How are you going to answer for that at the pearly gates?
So I love Tucker's response. Tucker tweeted this right afterwards. Watch. Can you see that?
F-word lunatics.
Effing lunatics, Tucker says. Exactly.
Comes to this story, what we're looking at right now, why do we have guys scattered across Syria? Why do we have guys scattered across Iraq? Why are we leaving ourselves vulnerable to the potential for an attack to Iran?
No, I agree. I mean, I think the phrase was used, sitting ducks. Why are the ducks there, right? I think we've learned a lot in the last couple of years that we shouldn't be there. I mean, look, this will be the first time in my life that I agree with Joy Reid. Not another effing war.
If that bill were the law today, I'd shut down the border right now and fix it quickly. And Congress needs to get it done.
Starting another fucking war. Still trying to kill the deal.
Right, I'm warred out. We had Ukraine, it's 2 years, Gaza, Iran. You know, one day they're good guys, the next day they're bad guys, then they're good guys again, and then we're not sure, and then we talk, you know. A wise man once said, and I wish I remembered his name, it's big if we make it big. And that's what we do. We take things and we make it big. And why is it that we only have consequences for actions not in the United States? They, like you said, if you harm Americans, there will be payback. Well, there are Americans being harmed in the United States every damn day. We don't do shit about the border. We don't do anything about crime. When will we send a message to the illegal immigrants or the fentanyl suppliers or the smash and grabbers? Or hell, why not send a message to the people who assault cops? I'm not saying bombing. I'm saying actually creating disincentives, actually punishing people who deserve punishment in the United States and protecting millions of Americans here. I don't want our troops getting bombed over there. I prefer that they be home here. So you put the sitting ducks out there, then we got to go send some virtue signaling message to show that we're doing something and that we know is not doing anything. And then we got to sit here and act like armchair experts talking about this crap for 17 minutes. I'm sick of it.
But Senator Lindsey Graham, of course, has a long history of taking money from these defense contractors. Of course, he famously talked about, wanting them to fund him exclusively. In fact, if you read this, here's a great piece that dives deeply into all of the defense contractors that have leveled money in his back pocket over the years. The super PAC supporting the presidential campaign of Senator Lindsey Graham raised $2.9 million through the end of June, a significant portion of which came from defense contractors that stand to gain from Graham's advocacy for greater military intervention around the world and increased defense spending. He even said this publicly. This is quoting Senator Lindsey Graham. If I were a defense contractor, I'd be big time for Lindsey Graham. He's speaking of himself in the third person because I've been forward leaning on rebuilding our military.
Natalie doesn't like that.
George is getting angry. I'm going to quote the New York Times now. The latest attack on American troops in the region over the weekend resulted in no deaths. This was like a few days ago. But President Biden and his advisors worry that it's, quote, only a matter of time. Whenever a report of strikes arrive at the White House Situation Room, officials wonder whether this will be the one that forces a more decisive retaliation and results in a broader regional war. But this is the pattern. of U.S. interventionism of the past more than 2 decades. Intervention begets more intervention, then begets U.S. occupation at some far-flung outpost. Militant attack on said outpost begets greater escalation and yet more intervention. It seems the cycle never ends, perhaps by design, as the continuing legacy of the neocons GWOT, which kicked off the era of the Iraq and Afghanistan invasions. So, pretty eye-opening piece in the New York Times admitting intervention begets more intervention. And these people are sitting ducks. These American service members who are in these places waiting. Why are they there in the first place?
It's also a haunting image to think of them sitting there waiting, like, oh, did any of our guys get killed? Not yet? Okay. Like, if you think of those people as your children or people you care about, then you're like, well, let's get them out.
Yeah.
Because if we're waiting for that to happen, let's get them out first.
Know how he's getting close to getting us in a war. I said, as the walls close in on this man, I'm worried he's going to get us to war in Iran. Unfortunately, I may have been right.